Hey friends, if you have been following, I usually release a video on Monday. That went out the window this week for various reasons, none of which you need to know about, but it fits perfectly with the astrology. We have a bunch of planets in mutable signs. They're all about change and not being so fixed. So I'm changing it up. I'm releasing a short video today with a little bit of information about what's happening, all of which is terribly interesting. But I will start with, and I think I've been mentioning that we have several planets in mutable signs. And they're all the 7 traditional planets are in mutable signs. So when you look at an astrological vision of the skies at the moment, you've got all these planets in one block here and all these planets in another block there, which is kind of interesting. It's like we're getting this supercharge of all of this similar energy, and they're different signs, but they're the same mode. So they're all Pisces and Sagittarius are both mutable signs. It's associated with the end of a season, so it's like change and yeah, don't be so fixed. Go with the flow. I'm not going to have a predetermined idea about how this is going to look. How I feel this morning is going to be different to how I feel this afternoon. So it's all about shifting sand, which is a beautiful thing, but if you're used to being a lot more determined and fixed about your goal, you could be coming up against some roadblocks. That's been happening for a little while and it's about to shift. But so I tell you that to let you know what the energy's been over the last few weeks. And we're going to get that a few more times this year because we've got those slower outer planets hanging out in mutable signs. So hang in there. Mercury is conjoining the South Node. I'm going to just pick up on that one. Mercury is conjoining the South Node today and tomorrow. So outdated, wishy-washy thinking will possibly be drawing you in. Daydreaming, Mercury in Pisces is opposite its home sign of Virgo, where things are about detail and precision. So Mercury in Pisces, isn't very precise, is potentially taking a lot of information in, but not necessarily rationally processing it. So I associate it very much with kind of dreams and contact with the ether, again, which is great, but because it's conjoining the South Node, which is generally associated with things that no longer serve us, negative, potentially, behavior patterns, or patterns generally, and because Mercury is conjoining it, we would say thought patterns or communication patterns that no longer serve you and potentially have something to do with Piscean elements of being wishy-washy, not being focused on the details, being a little too optimistic and not necessarily connecting with the rational reasoning behind something. So keep that in mind over the next few days and acknowledge it and let it clear. Mercury's going to keep moving. He's moving very quickly through Pisces, so take some time with that. Now all of this is going to change on Sunday. Sunday about almost exactly 3 p.m. in Adelaide, South Australia. The sun moves into Aries. So for starters, happy International Astrology Day, everyone. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, and I think formally for a little while now, that day across the world has been International Astrology Day. According to the tropical zodiac, the sun shifts into Aries on that day. As I said, it's the first sign of the zodiac. It's all about new beginnings. In the northern hemisphere, it's the beginning of spring. In the southern hemisphere, we've got that shift to autumn. So it's, again, it's also the equinox. So it's a really, it's a time to be able to shift from that mutable energy and get into starting things. Aries is a fire sign, it's a cardinal sign, it's the initiator. It has to do with, I associate it with inspiration. Fire is, one of those very impermanent elements, it flickers and it booms, and so there's some of that stuff about it, and because the sun is such an integral player in the astrological landscape, that shift into Aries is going to, I think, move us out of that mutable energy that we've been feeling for a while. So, get to the starting line and get ready for the person to shoot off the start gun this Sunday in Adelaide. Because it's the start of our year, and I think while individuals astrologically have good times to start things like their birthdays, their solar returns, I think generally, and for us as a society, the Aries ingress, as it is known, is a good time for us to be like, cool, where are we heading in the next 12 months? So I'm also going to post a little article on the Aries ingress and what that might mean for Australia specifically, because you can cast it for certain locations. So if you're interested in that, take a look at the website over the next few days. But otherwise, enjoy that Aries ingress. Sorry for the lateness. Hopefully when the sun moves into Aries, I will be better at releasing this on time. But we shall see, and thanks for tuning in once again. Bye-bye.